after CM Punk and MJF engage in a brutal dog collar match. Has CM Punk now been reborn? Let's get into it. What is up? My name is Lloyd and this is the Middle Card, which are my takes on the world of professional wrestling, all of its ins and outs. So let's go. August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling. August 20th, 2021, I'm back. That's what CM Punk told us. That's what he said when he arrived in AEW. Let me add another layer to that. March 6th, 2022, he was reborn. That's what I feel happened at Revolution between CM Punk and MJF. And you know what? I'm gonna use his entrance as my evidence of that. So let's tell the story of MJF and CM Punk, because we already know what happened at Revolution. Awesome match. Some things that I would want to get into, but maybe after. So here's the story. In 2007, that's when MJF met CM Punk. It's hero CM Punk. In 2007, CM Punk had already been with WWE for at least 2 years. So MJF met his hero CM Punk, the sports entertainer, not CM Punk, the professional wrestler. In theory, fast forward 2014, CM Punk leaves because of his own wellness. He's got to get out of there. Okay? CM Punk then returns in 2021. Now he's returning, he's a lot more humble, he's older, he's there to work with the younger talent. There's a lot of matches that he wants to have, but these are his only goals there. He just wants to help people get better, just wants to help the company grow. Okay, now he starts his program with MJF. MJF then proceeds to beat CM Punk twice in the same night in Chicago. This is what happened. One decision, but ultimately he beat CM Punk twice in his hometown in a great match. This causes Punk to earn the right to face MJF again. Now here's where we start cooking. So CM Punk pulls out the photo of when Max met CM Punk in 2007. And he proceeds to tell the story of, "This was just another Friday for me." After which leads up to him challenging him to a dog collar match because of MJF's tactics and always running away and always calling on help. He wants to create an environment where he can't get away. And basically MJF has also been calling himself Brett in Calgary, Piper in Portland, which are very important references as far as people who are just so over in their hometown. Okay. This enrages MJF. Leads him to tell his origin story. This is how the Joker came to be. This is what we got. How he had learning disabilities, how because he was Jewish, he was teased, he was ridiculed, he was bullied. And that night when he met CM Punk, it meant everything to him, and that he wanted to be just like CM Punk until CM Punk abandoned him. And then it was years later, after he saw CM Punk in a picture shaking hands with Bryan Danielson, that he decided, you know what, in spite of you, I'm going to be the best in the world. called him a gutless coward. My favorite part from his promo says, "You could choke me, chain, you can whip me with the chain, you can make me bleed buckets, but I will not quit. Because if I quit, then I would be no better than you." And we all know that's the case. Because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it. He was preaching his existence. He was telling his origin and screaming it into the universe, which CM Punk then feels responsible for on some level. Comes out, asks him if it's true. MJ has a tear in his eye, says that it's true. Moving forward, CM Punk tries to make amends. He's like, I believe what he's saying. I believe all those things happened to him. I question his sincerity, but I can't tell whether or not I'm the bad guy here. Now, up until this point, MJF has already done horrible things to a lot of people. He beat down Dean Malenko. He made fun of the late Brian Pillman. He's just done act after act after act. He made reference to Darby Allin's dead uncle. Just horrible thing after horrible thing. And in some way, on some level, CM Punk feels a bit of responsibility for this and feels like maybe I'm the bad guy. Maybe I'm sort of responsible for setting this guy on these chain of events, setting him down this course, down this path. So he tries to make amends. Then of course MJF turns on him, makes him bleed, says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he did not exist. Quoting Usual Suspects, which again, one of my favorite movies. Go see it if you haven't seen it. This pushes Punk over the edge, basically. After all of this, after all the antagonizing, calling him PG Punk, Papa Punk, saying that he's barely been, getting through his matches and winning his matches and everything like that, this is the moment that MJF did not predict. He's basically pushed CM Punk over to the edge to the point that CM Punk has now tapped into something that he thought he lost. He thought he lost it when he signed with the WWE in 2005. He thought he lost it during that 7-year hiatus when he wasn't wrestling. So it's a 15-year gap. That's all leading to this very entrance. So when CM Punk enters the arena to his ROH theme, his ROH gear, it was symbolic. It was symbolic that CM Punk, the professional wrestler, was back. I'll take it even a step further. You can look at this a couple of ways. You could either say that Max was actually going to face the essence of who his hero was. The true CM Punk, the origins. The part of Punk that Punk thought he lost, and now he was driven to get it back. You could say that. Or you could even say that Max was about to face CM Punk that he did not know actually existed, because Max would have been 11 when he met CM Punk in 2007, and this is just an entirely different human being. This is what you could say, but either way, you could also say who Max beat was CM Punk, the sports entertainer. He has not yet faced CM Punk, the professional wrestler, and that's who we got at Revolution. And that's what makes that story so cool. And that is the essence behind that entrance. At least that's my theory behind it. I would love to debate this and get into theories and talk about it. Because unless I'm going to have a conversation with CM Punk and lay it out for him how I saw it, and these are just theories. But either way, favorite parts of the match. Okay, the part that freaked me out was that tombstone that was on the apron. Tombstone into the reversal. I thought somebody was gonna fall. That freaked me out. Love seeing CM Punk do the Shining Wizard, and of course, because CM Punk is a huge Bret Hart fan. I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but he went into a Bret Hart sequence where he did the Russian leg sweep, and then he proceeded to get on the second rope and do a second rope elbow, which is classic Bret Hart. So if you go and you watch any Bret Hart match, you could see Bret do that. But my actual favorite part was CM Punk going for the Pepsi plunge, Max then turning it to a superplex onto the tacks, and then he walked over on his knees, did Max, and he was just like, ouch, ow, 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 like he's in pain because his knees are on tacks. And then he went and he punched Punk just so that he landed in the tacks. But anyways, let's get past that. So the ending of the match, this creates a bunch of different stories. One, I think because CM Punk, professional wrestler, has been awakened, I think now he has the ambition and the drive to go after the AEW title. So I think that's probably where we're headed. Wants to challenge for that. Second part is we have this Wardlow situation, as Wardlow pretended like he couldn't find the Dynamite Diamond ring, and then basically after Max caught the GTS, finally he remembered, oh, here it is, which led to Punk hitting MJF, getting the victory. Wardlow's basically betrayed Max. However, he still works for Max. And Wardlow has the TNT title shot. So, is he going to take the shot away from Wardlow? Is he going to let Wardlow win the TNT title? Which is very possible. And then demand that Wardlow gives him the title. Is he going to hand the title shot to somebody else, like maybe a Shawn Spears? All of this is going to play out. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I'm super excited for this because it's basically what professional wrestling is supposed to feel like, basically. Like, I don't know which direction they're going in, and I'm just along for the ride. I'm just enjoying, and I get to throw out thoughts and theories and have fun with it. Anyways, that's me. Let's go.